Ever wondered about the first man and woman who ever lived? What was their story? Picture yourself journeying back to the very dawn of mankind, to a time when everything was new and unspoiled. The Garden of Eden, the forbidden fruit, the serpent's deception. Each element of this tale is rich with meaning and significance. But how well do we really know the story of Adam and Eve? Join us as we delve into the fascinating story of Adam and Eve. In the beautiful Garden of Eden, our story begins with the creation of Adam. Imagine a time when the world was untouched, a paradise brimming with life and beauty. This was the Garden of Eden, a place of perfect harmony, where every tree bore fruit and flowers bloomed in abundance. In this idyllic setting, the first chapter of humanity was written with the creation of the first man, Adam. According to the Bible, specifically in the book of Genesis, God formed Adam from the dust of the ground. Picture the divine craftsman at work, shaping the first human with careful precision. The dust, seemingly insignificant, was about to play a pivotal role in the grand scheme of existence. But the creation was not yet complete. God did something extraordinary to bring Adam to life. He breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. Imagine the power of that divine breath, carrying the spark of existence, infusing the lifeless form with the spirit of life. At that moment, Adam became a living being, the first of his kind, a unique creation. God, having created Adam, placed him in the Garden of Eden. This was no random choice, but a purposeful act. The garden was to be Adam's home, a place for him to dwell and take care of. It was a paradise designed for man's enjoyment and responsibility, a testament to the divine plan for humanity to live in harmony with nature. Adam was given dominion over all living creatures in the garden. He named each one, a task that not only asserted his authority, but also his connection to all life forms. It was a world where man lived in communion with nature, under the watchful eyes of the Creator. But as we'll soon see, this divine narrative had more in store for Adam. The Garden of Eden, as perfect as it was, held a void that needed to be filled. For in this paradise, amidst all its splendor and life, Adam was alone. But Adam was not meant to be alone in this paradise. Adam needed a companion, and thus Eve was born. Picture this. Adam, the first man, is alone in the beautiful Garden of Eden, surrounded by the diverse beauty of creation. But amidst the plethora of animals, plants, and the majesty of nature, something was missing. A counterpart, a companion, a partner. It's here that the story of Eve begins. As the biblical account goes, God looked upon Adam's solitude and decided it was not good for man to be alone. So he made a plan to create a helper suitable for him. But instead of simply creating Eve from the dust of the ground, as he had done with Adam, God chose a different approach. God caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam. As Adam slumbered, God performed the first surgery, if you will. He took one of Adam's ribs. Now, why a rib, you might ask? Some scholars suggest that the rib, being close to the heart, signifies the intimate and close relationship that is meant to exist between man and woman. With the rib from Adam, God fashioned Eve. The term fashioned in the original Hebrew suggests a careful and deliberate act of creation, like a master craftsman shaping a beautiful masterpiece. Eve was not an afterthought, but a deliberate and integral part of God's creation plan. When Adam woke from his sleep and saw Eve for the first time, he recognized her as part of himself, exclaiming, "This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh." This profound statement underscores the deep connection and unity between man and woman, a bond that was designed from the very beginning. And so it was that Eve, the first woman, was born from Adam's side. She was not taken from his head to be above him, nor from his feet to be below him, but from his side to be equal with him, under his arm to be protected, and near his heart to be loved. And so Adam and Eve, the first man and woman, lived together in harmony in the Garden of Eden. But amidst this paradise, there was one rule that they had to follow. In the lush greenery of Eden, God planted a garden, a haven of serenity and tranquility. And in this Eden, there was a tree that bore a fruit unlike any other, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. This tree was unique, a symbol of divine knowledge and supreme power, and its fruit held a secret that was not meant for humankind. God entrusted Adam and Eve with the care of this Eden, but with one strict command. They could enjoy the bounty of every plant and tree in the garden, except for one. the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. The fruits of this tree were forbidden to them. You may surely eat of every tree of the garden, God told them, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat, for in the day that you eat of it you shall surely die. This command was clear and unambiguous. It was a test of obedience, a test of faith, a test of their trust in their Creator. Adam and Eve had everything they could ever want in this paradise. They were surrounded by beauty, tranquility, and abundance. They were in a direct relationship with God, walking and talking with Him in the cool of the day. All they had to do was to follow this one command. But the tree stood there, its fruit gleaming with an enticing allure. It was a tree of knowledge, a tree of power. It promised wisdom, enlightenment, and a taste of the divine. The fruit was not just a fruit. It was a symbol of temptation, of curiosity, of the human desire to reach beyond what is given and grasp for what is forbidden. However, temptation soon entered this perfect world. The stage was set for a test of faith, a battle between obedience and desire, between divine command and human curiosity. The story of Adam and Eve and the forbidden fruit is a story of choices and consequences, a tale as old as time itself, a story that continues to echo in the hearts of every human being. The cunning serpent, the most beautiful of all creatures, had a plan. This plan was not of love or peace, but one of deceit and betrayal, an intricate web woven to ensnare the unsuspecting. In the heart of the Garden of Eden, the serpent found Eve, the mother of all living. The serpent, with its silver tongue, began to question Eve, asking her about the one rule that God had set for her and Adam, to not eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. The serpent, sly and smooth, twisted God's words, suggesting that God was holding back, that He didn't want them to become like Him, knowing good from evil. Eve, innocent and naive, listened to the serpent's words, her mind swirling with confusion and doubt. The once forbidden fruit now seemed alluring, its promise of wisdom and understanding too tempting to resist. The serpent continued its deceitful persuasion, assuring Eve that she would not die as God had warned, but rather, her eyes would be opened, and she would be like God, knowing good and evil. The serpent's words, like a venomous bite, infected Eve's heart. The fruit, once forbidden, now seemed desirable for gaining wisdom. The serpent had successfully planted the seeds of doubt and desire in Eve's heart, and she found herself unable to resist the allure of the fruit. Thus Eve reached out, her hand shaking slightly as she plucked the fruit from the tree. She held it in her hand, its skin smooth and inviting. The serpent watched, its eyes gleaming with satisfaction as Eve took a bite, forever altering the course of humanity. Eve, succumbing to temptation, ate the fruit and shared it with Adam. The deed was done, and the consequences of their actions were yet to unfold. The serpent slithered away, its mission accomplished, leaving behind a trail of chaos and a world forever changed. The consequences of their actions were immediate and severe. Adam and Eve, once living in blissful innocence, now found themselves in a reality that was drastically different. In the blink of an eye, their eyes were opened, and the couple became aware of their nakedness. Imagine the sudden shift from comfort to discomfort, from openness to concealment. The fig leaves they sewed together were not merely a physical covering, but a metaphorical shield against the shame and embarrassment they now felt. Shame, a feeling they had never known before, crept into their hearts like an unwelcome guest. It was an alien emotion, a stark contrast to the peace and contentment they had known. It was a painful realization of their disobedience, a harsh mirror reflecting their transgressions. Their relationship with each other changed as well. The bond that once was pure and unguarded was now tainted with the stain of their actions. They hid from each other, just as they hid from God. It was as if an impenetrable wall had been erected between them, a wall built from disobedience and regret. The effects of their actions rippled beyond their personal experiences. The harmony that had existed between humanity and nature was disrupted. They felt the sting of thorns and thistles, experienced the sweat of their brow, and tasted the bitterness of hard labor. The world around them, once a paradise, was now a place of hardship and toil. Fear also entered their lives. They feared God's judgment, the consequences of their actions, and the uncertainty of their future. It was a stark departure from the fearless existence they had known in the Garden of Eden. And so Adam and Eve, once the epitome of innocence, now stood as the embodiment of fallen humanity. Their actions had set in motion a series of events that would forever alter the course of human history. Their idyllic life in the Garden of Eden was about to change forever. They were about to embark on a journey into the unknown, a journey marked by pain, struggle, and redemption. This was the fall of man, a poignant reminder of the consequences of disobedience and the enduring power of divine judgment. God's punishment for their disobedience was swift and harsh. Let's delve into the severity of the punishment God meted out to the serpent, Eve, and Adam. First, the serpent, the crafty creature that had deceived Eve. God said to it, "Because you have done this, you are cursed more than all cattle and more than every beast of the field." The serpent was condemned to a life of crawling on its belly, forever estranged from the other creatures. Now let's turn to Eve. Her punishment was twofold. Firstly, God declared that she would endure great pain during childbirth, a decree that has echoed down the centuries to women today. Secondly, God announced that her desire would be for her husband and he would rule over her. This edict set a precedent for the societal structure we've seen throughout much of human history, where men have traditionally held dominion over women. Then came Adam's turn. Because he heeded the voice of Eve over God's command, God cursed the ground because of him. From that day forth, Adam and all his descendants would have to toil and sweat for their sustenance. The fertile paradise that was Eden was no more. Thorns and thistles would sprout from the earth, and man would have to eat the plants of the field. The easy life was over. And then came the final act of this heart-wrenching scene. God expelled Adam and Eve from the Garden of Eden, barring them from accessing the tree of life. An angel with a flaming sword was stationed at the entrance to guard it, ensuring that they could never return. So, in one fell swoop, paradise was lost. The serpent was condemned to crawl, Eve to suffer, and Adam to toil. They were all banished from the lush beauty of Eden, condemned to a life outside the garden's protective embrace. Thus began the life of hardship and toil for mankind. The story of Adam and Eve is not just a tale of the first man and woman. It is a narrative rich in symbolism, brimming with themes that have echoed through the corridors of time and still find relevance in our lives today. At its core, the story of Adam and Eve is a profound exploration of temptation and the consequences of surrendering to it. The forbidden fruit, the allure of knowledge, the seductive whisper of the serpent. All these elements serve as metaphors for the temptations we face in our everyday lives. They remind us of our human susceptibility to desire and the potential dangers that can arise when we yield to it without discernment. The tale also delves into the theme of disobedience. When Adam and Eve partake of the fruit from the tree of knowledge, they disobey a direct command from God. This act of defiance symbolizes humanity's innate desire for autonomy, our inclination to challenge authority, and our struggle with obedience. It's a reflection of our own internal battles, our wrestle between duty and desire, between what we want and what we know is right. The story doesn't shy away from the harsh realities of punishment either. After their act of disobedience, Adam and Eve are met with repercussions that alter their existence forever. This narrative thread is a stark reminder that actions have consequences. It underscores the principle that while we have the freedom to choose our actions, we don't have the freedom to choose the consequences. However, the story of Adam and Eve is not merely a tale of doom and gloom. It's also a narrative of redemption. Despite their transgressions, Adam and Eve are not abandoned by God. Their story ends with a promise of salvation, a glimmer of hope. This theme of redemption echoes the message that despite our mistakes, our flaws, our falls from grace, there's always room for forgiveness and a chance for a fresh start. In essence, the story of Adam and Eve serves as a mirror, reflecting our own struggles, our victories, and our defeats. It's a narrative that delves deep into the human condition, exploring themes that are as relevant today as they were thousands of years ago. It reminds us of our human frailty, our potential for greatness, and our capacity for redemption. It's a timeless story that continues to resonate with us today. So the story of Adam and Eve provides profound insights into human nature and our relationship with God. It's a tale of beginnings, temptation, and redemption, reflecting the timeless struggles we all face. It's a reminder of our free will and the consequences that come with it. Ultimately, it underscores our innate desire for knowledge and understanding, a quest that continues today. If you found this video enlightening, hit the like button and subscribe for more interesting videos. Thank you for watching.